Hi everyone, I am Kalpana. I am working as a assistant professor in Freshman Engineering Department of Chemistry, St. Martin's Engineering College. Today our topic is natural and synthetic rubbers. Okay, what is the rubber? First of all, rubber. How to prepare the rubber? How to collect the rubber? First of all, natural rubber is you have to collect the different trees. Different trees means rubber trees. The trees are different in your country and other country also. You have to collect the rubber trees. Okay, how to collect the first of a natural rubber? You have to rubber can the synthesize and industrial scales. You have to use the manufacture of the rubbers, strides, and polymer materials. Also, you have to use the rubbers. Okay, rubber first of all collect the natural rubber. How to collect? Natural rubber is present in the 30 to 40% of rubber and 55 to 60% of water in presence of in some proteins and resins, ash and sugar also present in the natural rubber is it's collect in the natural trees. Natural trees means natural rubber trees. It is not man-made rubber. It is naturally occurred. How to occur? How to occur? How to occur means I have to occur in the trees. That is the rubber trapping. Rubber trapping. Trapping means you have to collect the rubber in the bowl. This is example. This is the rubber trapping. Okay, rubber trapping. You have to text latex. You have to collect the latex in the bowl within the rubber trees. You have to dip the rubber and slicing the rubber tree. You have to collect the latex in the bowl. This is the rubber. This rubber you have to use the natural and synthetic process. Okay, natural process. Natural rubber, it is a sticky and slimy nature is presented in the natural rubber. This sticky and slimy natures are not perfect in the rubber. You have to use the rubbers in the eraser forms and tire forms and keyboards. Next one, you have used the pencils. So many metal rubber items also. And nowadays rubber is a very important. Rubber items also is excess of uses in your country. Rubber is most important. That most important rubber is the processing of the rubber. This is slimy and nature is the present. Natural rubber is slimy and sticky nature. This slimy and sticky nature you have to reduce. You have to mold to other properties, means other textiles, example erasers, hair bands, next seat belts, that is made up of rubbers. Okay, these rubbers you have to make different country different products. These products you have to sticky and slimy nature is not perfect. You have to touch the rubber. It is very good elastic, very good resistance, very good protective, very good your industries. Okay, that is the compounding, mixing, sharpening and vulcanization. These four process you have to natural rubber processing. You have to collect the natural rubber. After that you have to process these process. You have to prepare the some products. Okay, erasers, ties, hair bands and seat belts, bags, whatever it is. Nowadays chappals also used in the natural rubbers. Rubber chappals also in our market. So that purpose you have to vulcanization. This is the processing of purity of the rubber, vulcanization process. Okay, first of all compounding. Compounding means now you have to collect the natural rubber. After that you have to add some chemicals or some mixtures, some compounds, additives, that is the additives. Then the raw rubber you have to order to obtain the properties. Okay, chemicals adding during the products, chemicals adding during the compounding reaction with the rubbers, reaction with the rubber during the properties. Component reaction with the rubber to the vulcanization process. Stability of the rubber polymer is stability is increases during the vulcanization process. This vulcanization process mainly uses the reinforcing filters, carbon black. It increasing in the tensile and resistance of the additives of the observation in the textiles. Okay, and other additives include the antioxidants and antiogenites, coloring pigments also you have to use the natural rubbers. Next one, compounding after mixing. Mixing, what is the mixing? Mixing means additives mixing through the basic rubber. Okay, you have to collect the basic rubber. After that you have to mix some additives. Okay, first of all more important one is carbon black. You have to add the carbon black within the temperature. You maintain the temperature. This temperature is 200, 300 to 400, 300 to 400, 300 to 400 degree Fahrenheit. You have to must maintain the temperature. mainly used the forcing the filter carbon black is increases. You have to increase the carbon black capacity. Thus rubber vulcanization process also increases. Strengthening of the rubber purity of the increases in the carbon capacity depending on the carbon black only. Okay, the additives include the oxides and ozonides. You have to increase the oxides and ozonides and prevent the vulcanization process mixing using the takes in presence of the two stages. Okay, first one adding the carbon black and mixing the additives. After that, this is the heating process. We have to generate the heat in presence of the carbon black. After that, cool down this. You have to mix the carbon black. That heating is 300 degrees. It is very high. After that, you have to cool down the temperature. Cool down the temperature. After that vulcanization processes, you have to using the chemicals in the vulcanization proper. You have to prepare the rubber. You have to use the rubber in different products. So which product you have to maintain that temperature, and that rubber you have to fix it. Okay, next one is sharpening. Next one is sharpening. Sharpening means you have to rubber vulcanization process after the heating and after the adding of the carbon black. Sharpening is main important. Sharpening means you have to produce the derivative from the basic catalyst. You have to categories, calendaring, coating, molding of the casting. Okay, rubber through the series of the increasing the small gaps between the rubber fuel. Rubber is latex form. That forms that is liquid form. Liquid form you have to so many gaps. Liquid also you have to use the some gaps, some filters, some holes also is present in the rubber. Nowadays erasers also you have to break the erasers, some open it. You have some holes also present in the rubber. That is the calendaring process. Next one, coating. Coating means you have to use some different metals. That rubber layer also presented. That one example, you have to use laptops. Laptops in built you have, that is metal. After in upper way that is rubber. Rubber is presented. That is the protection of the protection. It fall on the iPhone or laptop. That is protect to the rubber. Okay, that is that one. Next, vulcanization of the rubber. Vulcanization means it is the important in the rubber processing. Okay, this is the 100 to 140 degrees of centigrade you have to vulcanization. This vulcanization is cross-linked polymeric bonds are present. This is the this is the sulfur and in presence of the sulfur cross linkages bonds are present. This cross linkages for highly vulcanization, highly cross linkages bonds are present in the rubber. This rubber is very expensive. This is very good rubber. You have to call the good rubber, pure rubber. Okay, sulfur sulfur in the presence of sulfur. Vulcanization means these bonds are vulcanization. This vulcanization means presence of rubber. Cross linkage bonds are high. Cross linkage bonds are high. Vulcanization is net weight is high. Cross linkage bonds are high. Presence in the vulcanization process only. Okay. This cross connecting decreases elasticity without the rubber is decreases. Stiffness increases. Vulcanization process also increases. That is the vulcanization process. Next one. Rubbers are two types. You have to natural and synthetic rubbers. You have to now you discuss in the rubbers. Rubbers are two types. Natural and synthetic. Okay. Now discuss completing the natural. What is the synthetic rubber? Synthetic rubbers are You have to synthesize the company man there, that is the man-made rubbers. That is the man-made rubbers. You have synthesized with the synthesized with the laboratory only, that is the synthetic rubbers. Okay, mixing also completed, vulcanization process also completed. Okay, next, applications of the natural rubber. How to apply the natural rubber? Airbags, windows, synthetic rubbers improving the brake pads and cheppals natural occurred in the most of the water content resistance, water content, plastic bags, plastic baskets, plastic water bottles, that is the water containing resistance of the rubbers. Okay, natural rubbers is clothing purpose, shoes purpose, whatever it is you have to use. Next one, first of all you have to collect the natural tree, you have to produce the balls and rubber ties, erasers, pipes and rods and gloves, cheppals also. This is the product properties of the natural rubber. Next one, synthetic rubbers. Synthetic rubbers are man-made material necessary in the natural rubbers. Okay, synthetic rubbers are artificially elastomers. One other name is artificially elastomers. Okay, it is a polymer, meaning the polymer means polymer means collecting combined with the monomers. Polymers means simple molecule called as a monomer. Okay, these monomers combined together, you have to polymeric form is formed. Okay, this synthetic rubbers is used in the plastic in the nature. Okay, easily better in the material purpose. Okay, these are the production of the petroleum and natural gases you have to made with the synthetic rubbers. Okay, synthetic rubbers examples of Buna S and thiokol rubber. What is the Buna S? This Buna S is called styrene and butadiene in presence of the sodium. Okay, in presence of the rhodium, that is the Buna S. Okay, you have to first of all you have to derive the Buna S. Buna S is copolymerization of the 1,2 butadiene, that is the 75%, and styrene, that is the 25% within the in presence of the sodium. This reaction is Buna S. Buna means first of all derive the Buna S. Bu stands from the butadiene, that is the monomer. Next one, Na means stands from the sodium catalyst, that is the catalyst. Sodium, Na means sodium, that is the catalyst. S stands from the styrene, that is the monomer. Okay, what is the, you have to remember that Buna S means these structure names, these monomers and catalyst also present in the Buna S structure. These Buna S is the polymer. Polymer means monomers. What is the monomers of the Buna S? Buna means monomer, that is the butadiene, and another monomer is styrene. These two monomers in presence of the catalyst to form the Buna S. Okay, that is the polymer. This is the synthetic of the Buna S structure. Okay, first of all, Buna S butadiene plus styrene in presence of the styrene. What is the butadiene? Butadiene means 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 means meth, eth, prop, but. That is the buta. Okay. Diene means 2 double bonds are present in this structure. That is the diene. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4 means 1 means meth, eth, prop, but. Okay. 4 carbons present in the organic compounds. That is the butane. Okay. 2 double bonds are presented. The 2 double bonds are presented in the diene, that is the butadiene. Okay. Next one, styrene. Styrene means this is the benzene ring. Benzene ring having the methyl group CH2 double bond is there. Ethene group presented in the styrene, that is the styrene. Benzene group presented in the methyl group, that is the styrene. Okay. This is the monomers. Monomers means this is the monomer. N number of monomers presented in the butadiene and N number of styrenes are presented in the styrene. Okay, these butadiene and styrene in presence of the sodium catalyst. This is the very important. That sodium catalyst, in presence of the only sodium catalyst, you have to prepare the styrene. Without sodium catalyst, you do not prepare the styrene. Okay. Butadiene, you remember it, buta. Bu means butadiene. Okay, S means styrene. Next, Na means Na means sodium catalyst. Okay, this is the structure of the butadiene. Okay, this butadiene, you have to use the properties of the butadiene. How to use properties. What is this properties? Properties is the resistance and capability and oxidation and swelling nature. This is the man-made rubber. You know, Buna-S is the man-made rubber. You have to prepare the laboratory. After that, you have to properties. What is this properties? Properties means you have to use the high resistant. Why you have prepared the Buna-S? Buna-S also you have to prepare in the natural rubber process. After that, you have to use the man-made products, like man-made products. Okay, why you have to use this Buna-S only in the plastic? Thus, that is the high resistance and high capacity of the resistance of the flow of the ions is the resistance. You know, flow of the ions means you have to this flow is following on, you have to cut. Okay, example, rainwater is there, some water is there, one bottle is there, you have to fill the bottle in the water. That water is not pour, that is the flow of the ions. After that, you have to use the swelling. Okay, Buna-S properties is this. You uses and applications of the Buna-S. Okay, Buna-S rubber is automobile industry. You have to use the automobile tires, bikes, shoelaces, shoe factories, and artificial compounds. That is the you have to use. Why you have to use? This is the very cheap and less in the butadiene. So that is the government rubber also. It is called government rubber also. Now nowadays the shoes and some tires, some metals also prepared in the rubbers only. That is the importance of the Buna-S. Next one, thiokol rubber. Buna-S is completed after the thiokol rubber. Okay, synthetic polymers of two types. You know that one. First one is synthetic polymers. You have to discuss in two types. That is, first one is Buna-S. After the thiokol rubber. Okay, Buna-S, you have to use the Buna-S in the presence of what is the monomers of the Buna-S? The synthetic rubbers. Okay, synthetic rubbers, you have to discuss the two rubbers only. You have to discuss in this. First one Buna-S, next one thiokol. Okay, Buna-S, monomers of butadiene plus butadiene plus styrene in the presence of styrene. Styrene. What is the product? Buna-S is n moles of butadiene and n moles of styrene. In presence of the sodium, Buna-S is formed. Next, thiokol. Thiokol means methyl chloride, dichloromethane, CH2 bond Cl, dichloromethane. In next, thiocols are present, sulfuric bonds. 1,2 butadiene. In presence of the heat, thiokol is formed. S bond S, double bond S, double bond S, bond CH, bond CH, and bond CH, bond CH, N. That is a thiokol. Okay, these two types is present. Two rubbers in the synthetic rubbers are two types. That is, one is the Buna-S, next one is the thiokol. Okay, these rubbers are thiokol and synthetic rubbers. Thiokol rubber is the you have to prepared in the laboratory. After that, you have to thiocol rubber. Okay, butadiene and sulfur diene thiocol rubber. This thiocol rubber uses and properties. This is the strong sulfur order bonds. Elastic nature is less. Okay, this you have to touch the rubber. This sticky and elastic nature is less. That is the thiocol rubber. You have to made with a laboratory purpose. Okay, after laboratory, this is the good electrical and insulators and resistance in the chemical industry. This is very expensive. Cost of this thiocol rubber is very high. Why we people willing to pay the extra cost of this great rubber? Okay, why it is used? Painting, textiles. These uses of the painting and textiles and coating and engineering jackets. Engineering jackets means laptops, mobile phones. You have to use content with the engineering force. Next, rocket fuels. Okay, you have to use the fuels in the water tanks. That is the rubber tank also present nowadays. Water tanks also made up of the PVC and rubber tanks also present. These rubbers of thiocol can be used in the fuel in the rocket engine. This engine is not leakages. This refined oil or fuel oil, thiocol rubber is very important and very expensive. Okay, epoxidation resistant to polyethylene. Okay, ethylene modifying the against of the epoxidation resistance and polyethylene and providing with the flexibility of the rubber capacity. Okay, flexibility of the rubber capacity. That is the main importance of the applications of the thiocol rubber. You have how to prepare the thiocol rubber: dichloroethene and disodium thiocols. In presence of the heat, you have to prepare the thiocol rubber. Thiocol rubber means you have to linkage of the two bonds. This is the two sulfur bonds, mostly four sulfur bonds present in the thiocol rubber. That is the mainly uses. These bonds are very high, very strongly bonds. That purpose this rubber is very expensive, very costly. Okay, this rubber is in man-made rubber. This is the Buna S is government rubber, that is very cheap. But thiocol is expensive. Why? What is the difference between difference? This is the sulfur bonds present. That is the only multiple bonds not present. This is the sulfur bond present. Strong sulfur order and elasticity of the less. Okay, naturally occur rubber. That agar rubber you have to prepare the thiocol rubber and synthetic rubbers. Okay, this synthetic rubbers is very important. Okay, this rubber you have to burn eye irritate, eye problems also you have to you have to prepare very confidentially, very clearly, and people willing to extra cost. Why you have to people willing to extra cost in this rubber? You have to grade this rubber. You have to living capacity, that vulcanization, rubber strength, rubber purity, and rubber that purposes also chemical resistance. These compared to these all purpose, this thiocol rubbers is very expensive, very important because of the natural rubber. You have first of all you collect the natural rubber. Each synthetic or natural rubbers, you have to collect the natural trees. After natural trees, you have to vulcanization process, sharpening, mixing. You have to use the chemicals in the process. These all are you have to improve the rubber strength. How to use the rubber, molding of the rubber. Of this, the example, cheap quality is there and high quality is there. These two qualities difference is cheap and high. Rubber vulcanization process, you have to use the cheap and high process. Okay, this thiocol rubber, after that, first of all, thiocol rubber you have to prepare in the laboratory. This is the very confidentially. Why it is burn your eyes, eye irritation, eye problems, health issues also is there. That's why this thiocol rubber you have to prepare in the confidentially. And Buna S is very easy process. That is the so many laboratories you have to prepare the Buna S. That is the government rubber. That is the cheap rubber. You have to prepare cheap quality of the rubbers. What is the cheap quality in your material, in your surroundings? That is the erasers. High quality erasers also is there, low quality erasers also is there, rubber bands also is there, seat belts, shoes, laces, shoes, feathers. Next number of polymer materials also in presence of the uh, our environment. Okay, this process you have to improve the strength of the rubber and improve the vulcanization process. A vulcanization process is very important in the man-made rubbers. Okay, these rubbers are seat belts, shoes, laces, cheppals, next footwears, and ఇంకా just మనం daily uses items in the rubber balls, rubber water bottles. Water bottles also two types is there. Tupperware bottles is there. Tupperware bottles made up of the thiokol. Normal water bottles also made up of the synthetic rubbers. Okay, synthetic rubbers means Buna S, Buna or, that is the synthetic rubbers. That is the less cheap quality. That is the normal bottles. In Tupperware bottles, nowadays Tupperware bottles or Tupperware plastics very expensive. Why it is very expensive? That is the made up of the thiokol rubber. In sulfur bonds are presented in this rubber. Highly sulfur bonds, highly vulcanization process also is present in the thiokol rubber compared to the Buna. Okay, these two compared to the Buna and thiokol rubber, these two, Buna is very cheap. That is the government rubber, and thiokol rubber is very high expensive rubber. Why it is? Sulfur bonds are present, vulcanization process is also is there, highly temperature you have to use this vulcanization process, and some issues are there. You have to made up of confidentially, you have to made up of the highly secure properties, you have to made up of, this is the difference between thiokol and natural and thiokol. Natural synthetic rubbers, the synthetic rubbers is two types, thiokol and Buna. That is the thiokol rubber properties. Okay, thank you. This is our topic. Thank you.